So you're in a bit of a classic iPhone dilemma. On one hand, you've got the iPhone 13 Pro. I mean, even a few years later, this thing is a beast. Stainless steel, a pro camera system, it just feels premium. But then you've got the brand new shiny iPhone 16 on your mind. You're wondering, do I save some money and get a former flagship, or do I go for the latest and greatest standard model? It's a tough spot to be in, and honestly, the spec sheets don't always tell you the full story. That's what we're going to do today. We're going to compare the iPhone 13 Pro and the new iPhone 16, but we're going to focus on the stuff that you'll actually care about in your day-to-day life. And stick around, because at the end, I'll tell you which one I would personally choose. Alright, so let's start with the first thing you see and touch the design and the display. Okay, so right off the bat, you'll notice a difference in how these phones feel in your hand. The iPhone 13 Pro, see, it has these polished stainless steel sides. Now that stainless steel makes it heavier, no doubt about it. But that heft, I mean, it gives the phone this really solid, dense feeling that honestly just looks and feels more premium than aluminum. Yeah, it's still great, but I gotta be honest, these shiny sides are a total fingerprint magnet. The iPhone 16, on the other hand, is with the aluminum sides, which are lighter for sure, and you know, a bit better at hiding smudges, but they just don't quite have that same premium weight to them. It's a small detail, but it's part of the overall experience. Now the display, the iPhone 13 Pro has, well, the notch. We all know it, it's there. But the iPhone 16 has the dynamic island. See, when I'm using a phone with the dynamic island, I find it's genuinely useful for things like tracking a food delivery or seeing my music. It's one of those things you think is a gimmick, but then you kind of miss it when it's gone. The biggest difference here though is ProMotion. The iPhone 13 Pro has a 120Hz ProMotion display which makes scrolling and animations incredibly smooth. The standard iPhone 16 is, well, a 60Hz display. For some people, this is a deal breaker. In my day-to-day, I definitely notice it. But after a few hours, your eyes do adjust. It's a personal thing, but if you're coming from a high refresh rate screen, it's something to think about. Now, this might seem like a small thing, but it actually changes how you interact with the phone. The iPhone 13 Pro has the classic mute switch. You know it, you love it. You can flip it in your pocket without looking. The iPhone 16 replaced this with the action button. Just like the 15 Pro, you can set it to open your camera, turn on the flashlight, start a voice memo. It's more versatile, but you do lose that simple, satisfying click of the mute switch. And there's another new button for the 16, a capture button on the side. The idea is that you can use it to quickly take photos and videos, almost like a dedicated camera. It's supposed to be pressure sensitive, so you can half press to focus and full press to shoot. If you take a lot of photos, this could be a really nice little addition. Alright, let's talk about what's under the hood, because this is where things get interesting. The iPhone 13 Pro has the A15 Bionic chip. Now, let's look at the numbers for a second. On a test like Geekbench 6, the iPhone 13 Pro scores around 2074 on single core and 5080-58 on multi-core. The new iPhone 16 with its A18 chip, it gets around 3319 for single core and 8059 for multi-core. So yeah, there's a performance gap on paper, but it's not like the iPhone 16 is twice as fast. And this is what I really want to focus on. In my day-to-day use, the iPhone 13 Pro is still incredibly smooth for any task I throw at it. Scrolling social media, browse, multitasking, watching videos, and even most gaming. So where does that extra power in the iPhone 16 really matter? Well, it seems to come down to two key things. First, the A18 chip and its 8GB of RAM are what you need for Apple Intelligence. But speaking of Apple Intelligence, you know, the iPhone 13 Pro doesn't support it, and I don't really feel like I'm missing out. See, by now Apple Intelligence isn't quite all there yet. And if I do need AI on my 13 Pro, I just use apps like Gemini or ChatGPT, which for me feel a bit smarter right now. So I don't think Apple Intelligence is a deal breaker, and maybe it won't be for most of you either. The second thing though, this is where the iPhone 16 clearly wins: gaming. With its new thermal design and that huge performance boost, you can now play AAA console games on it, titles like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Resident Evil 4. If you're a serious gamer who wants a phone that's more future-proof and can run newer games at high or even ultra settings, the iPhone 16 is without a doubt the stronger choice here. Now, how's the camera? This is a big one. The iPhone 13 Pro has a true pro level camera system. You get 3 lenses, a wide, an ultra wide, and a dedicated 3-wide optical telephoto lens. That telephoto lens is the key here. See, when I'm out and about, being able to zoom in for a clean, sharp photo without moving my feet is something I use all the time. It's a genuine creative tool. Now let's hop over to the iPhone 16. It has 2 lenses, but with a big upgrade. The main camera jumps from 12 megapixels to a 48 megapixel sensor. This means you can get a really good quality 2x zoom just by cropping in on that main sensor. The photos will be sharper and more detailed, but the hardware is only half the story here. On the video side, the 16 gets a couple of big software upgrades. You now have action mode, which gives you incredible gimbal-like stabilization when you're moving around. And a huge one for me, cinematic mode, now records in 4K at 30 FPS. On the 13 Pro, it's locked to 1080p, so this is a major bump in quality for those blurry background videos. The iPhone 16 also comes with new and improved photographic styles, giving you more control over the look of your photos right in the camera app. And we can't forget the other big thing for the 16, the new vertical camera layout, which is there for one reason, spatial video. If you have or are thinking about getting an Apple Vision Pro, the iPhone 16 will let you capture those immersive 3D videos. The 13 Pro can't do that. So it's a trade-off that's a bit more complex. Now, the iPhone 13 Pro still gives you more pure photographic flexibility with its dedicated 3x optical zoom lens. But the iPhone 16 counters with a higher resolution main sensor, the key to spatial video, and a much more powerful suite of video tools like 4K cinematic mode and action mode. It really comes down to what kind of stuff you shoot the most. Okay, now for battery life. This one is pretty straightforward. The iPhone 13 Pro's battery life is honestly still really good, but there's a big catch since you'd be buying it used. It really depends on the battery health. If you can get one with a high percentage, say over 90%, it's easily an all-day phone for most people. The iPhone 16 is expected to have some modest battery improvements thanks to that more efficient chip and likely a slightly larger battery. So yes, the iPhone 16's battery will be better, but a healthy 13 Pro is no slouch. But you know, the bigger difference here when we talk about power isn't just the battery life, it's the port on the bottom of the phone. The iPhone 13 Pro uses the Lightning connector. The iPhone 16 will have USB-C. For me, see, having one cable for my iPhone, my iPad, and my laptop is a huge convenience. If your other gadgets are already on USB-C, this is a genuine quality of life improvement. Okay, let's talk money. This is where the decision gets really interesting. The iPhone 16 is launched at a starting price of around $799 for the base model. The iPhone 13 Pro, you can't buy it new from Apple anymore, but on the refurbished market, you can find it in excellent condition for around $300 to $500 depending on the storage. So you're looking at a potential saving of about $200. That's not a small amount of cash. So after all that, which phone should you get? Honestly, there's no single right answer, but here's how I see it. The iPhone 13 Pro is perfect for the savvy photographer. If you value having a dedicated 3x optical zoom for portraits and getting closer to your subjects, and you want that super smooth 120Hz Pro motion display, this phone is in many ways still more pro than the standard 16. You get premium materials and a more versatile camera system for less money. The iPhone 16 is the better choice for the forward looker. If you want a phone that's set up for the future with the latest AI features, the convenience of USB-C, and the ability to shoot spatial video for the Vision Pro, this is the one. You're getting a brand new device with a longer support window and a powerful new chip. So what about my personal choice? You know, even though I love new tech, I think for the money, I'd lean towards the iPhone 13 Pro. That telephoto lens is something I use so much, and the Pro Motion display makes the whole experience feel so fluid. It just feels like you're getting more phone for your dollar, even if it's a couple of years older. But that's just me. Both of these are fantastic options, and you're not making a bad choice either way. So now I want to hear from you. Which one would you pick? Are you Team 13 Pro or Team 16? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, if you found this video helpful, a simple thumbs up would be amazing, and consider subscribing for more comparisons and reviews just like this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.